Hey, streaming cyberspace into your place. Sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League from Oxford Plains Raceway. It's the Virtual Gift Network's Live as It Happens second round coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 14. Okay, when a series' rule package includes a drop round, the race for the championship trophy doesn't really begin until round 2. That said, the opener at Phoenix was a terrific show and introduced us to one Bill Benedict. Benedict may have only led 6 laps, but his win was a statement that the talent pool this season has gotten a little deeper. Another new name of note was Ethan Troutman. A 4th place result and 4 laps out front has piqued the curiosity of the competition, the fans, and the commentators alike. But then there are the names we all know. 2-time champ Eric Teapot Stout, season 12 champ Jeff Aho, and the always there Fred Leclerc. The opening round points from Phoenix are in the driver's pockets to be used as insurance if things go bad. But tonight, the RLR kitchen is cooking for real, and we'll see if those new guys, well, if they're just a flash in the pan. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the simulated short track action that's about to stream your way. Let me give you a warm Pine Tree State hello and welcome on this Thursday night, May 29th, 2025. Back from a tragic loss in the Southwest Regional Croquet Knitting Jamboree semifinals is my partner, J.R. Shepard, who joins me. Hi, Bill Soup's on. Where are we? Hi, up in the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our Word's Eye View. Replay Ryan Senator, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, JR. A typical RLR distance for a track this size is 100 laps. Tonight, we go an extra 50. Man, let me tell you, that's a lot of turning left.
It's a lot, Soup. So tonight's going to be a frustrating night, I think, for many drivers. You know, this place is 3/8 of a mile in length, only about 9 degrees of banking, but the drivers, like you said, will be turning left almost the entire time around this track. That, along with the narrow racing groove here, is going to make it super tough to make passes, which is going to bring me to my next point. I expect to see that chrome horn being used throughout the race. The bottom of the track, that's where you need to be, and sometimes moving that driver ahead of you out of the way is the only way to make a pass. But Soup, the easiest way to get to the front is to start out there, so this may be the most important qualifying session of the entire season if you want a chance to win here tonight.
Jay and I were talking before we went live about whether you stop for tires or not, and with passing being at such a premium, well, the strategy may be get out front and stay out front. You know, with only one race in the book, looking at the points is kind of meaningless, but we can show those, bring them up if you like, and take a look. And this basically shows you the results from the opening round. Now, remember, the series has a drop rate, so the 47, the 43, the 41, the 40, all the way down to those 34 points. In fact, everybody will take those points they earned, stick them in their pocket, and use them if they miss a race or if things go bad. But it did make a statement. And Bill Benedict, he's quick, so it's going to be fun to get to watch him race here tonight. Okay, how are we doing here? Is qualifying is done, I believe. About a minute going on out there. There's wrapping up. Glad you are here. Longer season this round. It's this season. It's 18 weeks, 20 races. We have a couple twin races, which are always fun. Those are good. JR, have you done a lot of heat racing? Have you done, do you like that format?
I've done some heat racing. I'm not opposed to it. It's definitely exciting. It's one of those deals that you can have a bad race and a good race in the same night. So it's not bad to have them. It's interesting as always, and usually there's a spin on it from the different leagues that do it. You know, sometimes they'll do an inversion, things like that. So it does shake things up, makes it interesting. So it's nice to have a change once in a while.
The twin races that they have on tap are actually 2 unique races. They are 2, one race, and they'll know the other. The only thing that relates to the previous race is they'll invert those top 10, which sets it up a little bit. It's going to be a fun one. The question is whether Eric Teapot Stout is going to be able to defend himself this season, pick up his 3rd championship. Of course, we have Jeff Aho, who is also with us tonight. Former champion. And they're gridding up. And of course, We wouldn't be able to show you this grid if it wasn't thanks to our sponsor, RacedayCT.com. I'm telling you, if you're in the New England area and you want to find out some short track news and you want to get the news straight, not fake news, they're not going to tell you somebody's doing well that isn't. They're going to tell you who is really doing well. You want to go to RacedayCT.com to find out they are really the best short track information to be found in New England. And I believe, if Sister Mary Catherine, my 6th grade teacher, taught me right, I believe Maine is part of New England, so you can go there tonight if you're out here. With that said, let's go ahead and run down the starting grid for you. Former champ, Jeff Aho. Bad luck can find him. He'll be starting on the pole. Chad Alcaraz outside of him.
Inside row 2, we got Josh Buckley rolling out on the outside, that 03 car, Lewis Flowers.
There's a stout in the 5th position, but it's not Eric, it's Patrick. We'll find out the relationship between them, whether it is indeed brother or sister, or brother. Well, you know, it's 2025. It could be brother and sister. All right, and then Brandon Feeney will be starting in 6th.
All right, rolling off in 7th place, we got TJ Henson on the outside, defending champ Eric Stout.
Devin Visnow starting in the 10th position with Bruce Double Deuce Pearson in 11th. And I missed some there. We'll look down there. Oh, 9th. There we go. There's Visnow in 9th and Brandon Steffen in 10th. 11th is Pearson. 12th is Brian Neff. Go ahead. Take it from there, JR.
Yeah, 13th now we got Brian Bianchi. 14th place, Luke Logan Allen.
Oh, my goodness. Now I'm on different numbers I'm not used to. Andy Lewis will be starting 15th. Newcomer Glenn Jameson behind him.
Yeah, rolling off in the next row, we got Chris Hazlip and Ethan Troutman.
Apparently I'm having some trouble there, so we'll see if I can follow through on this one. Fred Leclerc, there he is with Rob Higgins in 20th.
Row 11, Dwayne Hopkins and Chris Alden.
23 and 24th, get this right, Soup. There's our winner from last week, Bill Benedict, with Ken Allen behind him in 24th.
Yeah, rolling off in 25th place tonight, Mike Tasharoo alongside him, Kevin Alicia.
And then we'll get to the rest of the field here as we go around. Gather at the chicken stake, cover beyond the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it is indeed out in front, Jeff Aho.
Yeah, so, you know, we talked about it, especially last season, but coming into this season also, you know, Jeff Aho, he's looking to get things turned around. He's a defending champion. This is a great way to get it going in race number 2, starting from the pole and already starting to pull away from the field.
Nice battle for second back there. Buckley is going to get the best of that. Stuck on the outside. That's the 17, trying to work his way down. Chad Alcaraz. He's going to lose the spot to Patrick Stout.
Yeah, and it's so difficult on the outside here. You can make that outside work as far as being able to maintain position for a couple of laps, but the longer you stay out there, the more heat you get in that right front tire. So all of these drivers are looking to make a hole right now. Get down to the bottom. You see some beating and banging back there with Feeney and I believe Neff. These drivers, they want to get down. They're very desperate at this point.
Position's very hard to pick up right now. Newcomer, Devin Visnow, has picked up 3 spots. Nice run from him. Car number 17.
Yeah, and another thing that these drivers need to watch out for, I've seen a couple of them make contact with it already. On the inside, that is not a painted line. That is a curve. Now, the most grip that you can get out there is right next to that curve, but you do not want to hop over it or get on top of it, especially in these modifieds, because they will high center and you will slide across it and the car will come out from underneath you.
Riding on board with Visnow. Clean so far. Working lap number 9.
Yeah, it's super, you know, we talked about it's longer than what these drivers are normally accustomed to. It's 150 laps. So right now, a lot of the drivers, they're being pretty patient. They're being very respectful to one another. So they're not being overly aggressive, even though they want to get down to that inside line. Right now, it's all about turning laps. Once we get past halfway, I expect that action to pick up.
We were looking at the 23 of Visna. Having a nice run. I may have misidentified. Car number 17 is Chad Alcaraz. Starting to go single file now.
Yeah, and this is the point where you'll start to see gaps opening up. You know, you got these large packs, the cars following each other nose to tail, but you'll start to see some gaps between a few cars. That's when we can start to identify who's kind of holding up other vehicles out there on the track. And, you know, even though they're holding them up, it's difficult to pass. So some of these drivers, they may be doing it on strategy. They may just be doing it because they lack pace. But right now you can see in front of Josh Buckley, Jeff Aho has pulled away. Now Buckley may be saving his tires, something we don't know, but this kind of tells us who's running at speed and who's kind of taking it easy.
Clearly need to check Jeff Aho for stolen towels because that driver has checked out. You saw our director put up the positions gained and positions lost. Nobody up more than 3 spots right now. Let me correct myself. How about Fred Leclerc? He's up 5. Always there, Fred Leclerc had a poor qualifying, but still managing to work his way through the field, and soon he will indeed be there.
Yeah, Fred's a driver in this series. We always see him. He doesn't always qualify the best, but he always races well. He's always there at the end in most cases, so he's doing that again here tonight, being patient, picking them off one by one.
Oh, the 17 got into the back of the 62. TJ Henson keeps it going straight. Chad Alcaraz did not. He spun off. He lost a ton of spots. It was a little bump and run from Alcaraz from behind, and he was really the driver who got the worst for wear.
Yeah, and that's only going. We've got a caution out there.
It is Visna, the newcomer. Gotta pay your dues. That's what he's learning right now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's something that I think we may see a little bit more of here at Oxford Plains. So coming off the corner, Neff had a little bit of a run. It looked like Visna was trying to hold him a little bit tight coming off the corner, and in return, contact was made. It's really just 2 vehicles going for the same real estate, trying to defend a little bit there while Neff was trying to overtake. Contact was made enough to get Visna sideways, but overall, kind of surprised that the caution came out, because this is kind of a place when a car's slowed down on the inside, we don't always get those cautions.
Bad news for Aho, who had burned up all that tire equity picking up that big lead. We're not sure if we're able to call up drivers today. I'm going to give my director a little hunting operation there. It'll go on Safari. See if you can pull up. How about Patrick Stout? Are you able to find him? If not, I'll take the other Stout, Eric, and we'll find out the relation. Hey, this is Soup up in the booth.
What's up, Soup?
Hey, what's the relationship between Patrick Stout and Eric Stout?
His little brother.
Hey, very good. Growing up, who kept Anita room?
Definitely me.
All right, they're doubling up. Go get you. You're having a nice run so far.
Hey, thanks, Soup. Have a good one.
Little brother.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope that he was respectful to his older brother, because he's right behind him on this restart suit.
Clearly, he kept a cleaner room. And from what I hear, the more handsome of the 2 Stout brothers. So, congratulations there. All right, we're going green. Working lap number 24 of 150. It is the season 10 champ, Jeff Aho, out in front. Buckley behind him.
Yeah, Buckley did a nice job having to restart on the outside of the front row there. He was able to get down in front of Stout, so that gives him that position once again. That's something that's not always easy to do here.
TJ Henson looking for any way to get down in that inside line. Eric Stout says no. Chad Alcaraz says no. Finally finds some room in front of the 89 of Bradley Steffen. Now who's stuck on the outside? It's Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. Boy, he's pinning the 14 down low. Brian Bianchi. doing a great job of keeping out of the 22.
Yeah, and it's an art form in order to be on that outside in these tight confines that we see right now racing. You do need to do, we see it right there with Bruce Pearson, you need to hold that inside driver down as much as you can without making the contact. You want them to have to work hard and keep it pinned down. And ultimately, that's the only way you're going to find any grip on the outside is to be as close to that inside group as possible.
Is either one of those drivers hurting the tires more, the outside line or the inside line?
The outside definitely. The inside line, if you run it perfectly, it doesn't matter if somebody's pinning you down or not here, you're going to be able to take care of it. The outside just creates more heat in that right front tire lap after lap.
Oh, Glenn Jamison got very squirrely in front of Lewis. Wild Flowers. Flowers does a good job of staying off of Jamison. There's a couple new drivers. They have a familiar name pinned to the outside. Brandon Feeney in the 38. Cannot get down.
Yeah, and again, right now, these drivers are not going to fight as hard. We're only on lap 31 of 150. As the laps go down, we're going to start to see more and more aggression, more contact being made with that outside car, trying to force a hold, trying to find a way to get to that inside line.
Boy, the story after the restart is exactly the same as after the start. Jeff Aho driving away. We ride on board with Wild Flowers right now in the popcorn position.
Yeah, and you can see riding on board with Flowers, there's not a lot he can do. You know, he may be faster than those cars in front of him, but there is nowhere to go right now. And it's a little relaxing, but also frustrating from a driver's standpoint because you're just turning laps. You cannot do much right now. Once things start to get further into this race, though, that's when you'll start to see movement being made, and that's when opportunities present themselves. The other thing to keep in mind is every time we have a restart, you want to be in an odd position so you have the potential to move forward on that inside line. No, big wreck coming out of turn 4.
Oh, it was peeking underneath. I was watching it. Bradley Steffen was looking underneath, trying to get down under the 62. He drifted up into TJ Henson. They turned sideways, and then it was the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, and we've still got cars trying to get things sorted out. There's a little bit of aftermath when the cars trying to get going, but we're watching on the screen here. We see Steffen on the inside line. He gets into that curve on the bottom there, and it kind of bounces him up into the 62. Unfortunately for the 62, I think he's going to get the most damage getting punted from behind there. And yeah, indeed, you can see he has engine damage from that contact with the outside wall.
Yeah, that car blew up like a head full of beeper. And he's going to have to pull it down. His night is going to be over. That's unrepairable, right?
Well, you know, yes, because in this series, there are no fast repairs. So yeah, his night is going to be done, and you're not going to be able to take any kind of repair to get yourself back out there. That's going to be a race-ending incident.
Leading the whole way has been Jeff Aho. Now we take a quick look to see if any of the guys up front come in, and sure enough, they did not. I would think if they were going to make a stop for tires, it would need to be closer to the end where they would get a little more reward for the punishment they would get from losing the track position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely in a race like this, you want to at least be halfway. I can tell you that going 100 laps is very manageable at a place like this in this car, the SK Modified. So definitely, I think if you're going to take tires, you want it to be after lap 100, probably somewhere between lap 100 and 120. After that, it's going to be super difficult to make any ground with anybody.
I have publicly made my dislike for this track well known, but I got to give Oxford Plains one thing. They have nice, quick yellow flags. Not a lot of time that we have to fill here on VGN. The perfectly mesmerizing Jokely Kirkland pulling that pace car down pit lane, and we're going to go green again. He's led the whole way. Season 10 champ Jeff Aho. Could he finally maybe put the bad luck behind him? Now, Buckley has been very good, but both of those guys, and we get another yellow.
Yeah, an immediate caution right after this one. We're starting to ramp up. We're getting far enough into this race. I think guys are going to be trying to make moves on the starts, or excuse me, the restarts. Rather, and we're looking on screen, and It's a little bit odd there from that view. Might have been a little bit of a checkup. Obviously, looked like the 81 trying to get to the inside there, but I don't think he was planning on it. And yeah, indeed, I see the 33 of Mike Tasharu kind of checking up because of what was going on in front of him, and Ken Allen really having nowhere to go there. So that was a difficult position. And we haven't talked about it in this broadcast, but from inside these modifieds, the vision is very difficult to see past the car in front of you. So I just don't think he had time to avoid that.
Yeah, it was Papa Ken Allen who had to check up, and then when he did, Alan Wanamaker got in behind. Nothing Wanamaker could do. He's just following along, and it's a bit of racing going on there. So we pick up yet another caution. Bradley Steffen coming down pit lane. Even though there are no fast repairs, I guess you can come on in and get some stuff done.
Yeah, he's definitely got the right sides in the air. Looks like he's going to be taking right sides only. That's all I think you could ever take as far as one trip down pit road without going a lap down. You can see how close the pace car is to him as he exited pit road there. So hard to take both sides. Obviously, he can save those left sides for later, but they're not going to be as valuable as those right sides are.
Okay, let's turn our attention here as they're about to go green on the car sitting inside of row 2. Two-time and defending champ Eric Teapot Stout. So far, Granny Hips, Josh Buckley has had a great job of being able to get to the inside. He's done it every time. It looks like there's room right now. He'll need to lift a little bit to tuck in behind the leader. The hole closes up. Finally, Buckley gets down there. Stout tucks into third. Now all of the attention is turned to the 24 of Chad Alcaraz. Oh, he's stuck on the top side. No love for him. Let me correct myself. The 17 is Alcaraz. He gets pushed out. That is little brother Patrick stuck on the outside. Little Stout.
Yeah, Patrick's stuck on the outside. The first one in line on the outside there. Feeney's trying to make ground on that inside. The one thing I kind of noticed on that restart there, Buckley kind of made some mistakes as far as going a little bit too high, but he was still able to get down. I think Eric Stout may be allowing him to get down in second place because I can tell you, Sue, it's a game. I've done it before. If you can stay in that third position, you know there's going to be more cautions. That gives you the best chance to stay up toward front at the end of the race.
The even and odd fairies is what Eric Stout is worried about right now. It's wise thinking. Little brother. Well, I guess if Eric is Teapot, maybe Patrick is Saucer. He was able to tuck in, got indeed in front of Lewis Wildflowers. Let's look at Brian Neff. He's an old-timer here on the Virtual Grip Network. Racing back right now in, I don't know, where is he? In the 9th spot. Able to tuck right in behind the 63 of Glenn Jameson. Jameson is one of those new names. He made a name for himself in the opening round, didn't get the finish he quite wanted, but he's somebody to watch for. We talked about the talent pool deepening. Indeed it is.
Yeah, we definitely have some new names compared to last season, and that's going to mix things up. It makes it interesting because the drivers that have been here for a long time, they've got to learn how to race around these new guys. The same for the new guys. They've got to learn how to race in this league. So it's very interesting to see that dynamic relationship take place throughout the season and how it will change.
Oh, great camera shot there. Just ahead of the card we're looking at is the number 90 of Bill Benedict. Benedict won last round. He is Burton well back in the order right now in 15th spot, trying to slowly make up positions. Single file behind Chris Hazlip, Hopkins, Cashanu. Hey JR, how about the run from Chris Hazlip? We don't get to see the lifter so far up. He had a pretty nice run. Racing in 12th.
Yeah, absolutely is. And again, you know, Chris puts in a lot of time. He runs a lot of short tracks, and he's, you know, pretty consistent. Don't talk about him a whole lot, but he's pretty consistent. So this is a place where he can just run his line and not have to worry about fending off people coming from the inside or outside. If he protects that inside line, which he knows, he can maintain that position. If he stays in an odd position, which he's not right now, he can continue to move forward on restarts.
Let's go back and look at Kevin Alicia racing right now in 20th position. That's where the action is. He's got the 71 of Fred Leclerc stuck on the outside. Just inside of him, Kevin Alicia. Knock, knock, knocking on Kevin's door is Ken Allen. Back there in the 81. Pop Ken had a little issues earlier, but looks like he got that sorted out.
You see on the outside, Fred Leclerc, he's trying to fight hard. He's gotten stuck on that outside line once again. He's trying to get down below right behind him. Biznon's trying to follow him, but ultimately they want to get down. If I'm the 23, I'm looking at that gap right there, and I'm trying to lift a little bit, get down into that gap so I can get back to turning laps and taking care of my tires right now, because just staying on that outside lap after lap, it's going to do no good for you. And what you see right here on screen is you actually see the rubber chunks. We do have rubber buildup that is on the outside of the track right now, and you can see it getting thrown up. The more you get that rubber on your tires, the less grip you're going to have also.
Nice, Fred Leclerc doing all he can. He's been out there for a long, long time. Oh, getting off the pace is the 48 of Andy Lewis. Got a little bit loose. He's going to lose a ton of spots. He was watching those guys. And now with Lewis getting off the throttle, everyone kind of checked up a little bit. And I believe, Director, can we have like the stationary shot? I believe we are single file all the way around. Here they come. It's a string of cars. Pasadena on New Year's Day.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx it. We know how that goes. But typically when you get that here at Oxford Plains, it means that you're going to be in for a calm race for at least a little while. We see Eric Stout starting to think about making a move up here for second. But once we get single file, it's hard to make passes without using that chrome horn. This early in the race, drivers typically just ride and take it easy and continue to turn those laps and wait for another caution.
If you're looking at drivers that are on a different tire strategy, we talked about always there Fred Leclerc. He actually did make a stop, and I assume he came in and took tires, although that's not a certainty. But he has about 30 laps less. Everybody else ahead of Leclerc. All been out there the whole time.
Yeah, and it's not a bad strategy. Like if a caution were to come out right now, I'm afraid some of those other drivers, there's one or two of them that pitted. I think Stefan took tires. So those drivers, they may have pitted a little bit too early. If a caution comes out right now and I don't see the leaders coming in, I see them staying out, I'm definitely going to come in and pit, because just in case some guys ahead of me later on decide to pit on a later caution, I'm going to stay out on the track and leapfrog them and take my chances with the slightly older tires. I think that's the strategy if you're stuck in the middle of the pack on how you might be able to get closer to the front.
Director, let's go ahead and put our camera on car number 14. He's the newcomer, Mike. We're going to guess on this. We're thinking it's Trash Row. We believe it's a kind of a Louisiana dialect going on there with that one. He did come in 7 laps less. Sitting right now, he is currently racing in 14th position, car number 33. Sorry.
Oh, man, we got a caution back out on the Speedway. I don't see a car stopped at the moment. Might be Bradley Stefan. Yeah, it wasn't. We talked about him. He came in, and got right side tires. I think more than likely he was kind of riding around, not trying to turn fast speeds, and what that can do to you is it messes up your rhythm. He got into that corner and just got too low up and over the curb. I think that may have been a contributing factor there with how it looked. It just did not look like he was fully up to speed when that happened.
It's time to take a pit stop. Jeff Aho coming down. Eric Stout coming down. Joshua Buckley, he was in second. Granny Hips staying out.
Yeah, definitely got several drivers. I think I see 10 drivers that stayed out there, Soup. And, it looks like 9 drivers. One of them, I think, circled around and came back in. So yeah, we've got a lot of guys that are going to take a gamble here. It's tough to pass, and this is your strategy. If you don't have a shot to win, try to stay out.
Do something different. Joshua Buckley, of course, he was racing up front, so he must feel confident with what he's doing. Brandon Feeney, Ethan Troutman, Rob Higgins, Dwayne Hopkins, Kid Lemon Lime. Haven't heard much from the number 6, Luke Logan Allen. That's Kenny's son. Out there in 6, he's staying out. Aiden Elvecchion, he stays out as well. Chris, can I have some more, sir? Oliver in 8th. And I think that Bianchi may have stayed out as well. Brian Bianchi in 9th, as my partner had said it. First of the cars who pitted is Devin of Nisnau. Yeah, so, you know, he didn't pit this time around. He has 1 pit in him. So he's leading, I like that other strategy. We'll go around one more time. The pace car's going to come out. They're going to get this sorted out.
Yep, and, you know, while we got another lap, the unfortunate thing for who was our race leader, Jeff Aho, he pitted this time, but because of the car staying out, he's going to be stuck on an outside line. So he's potentially going to go backwards here and lose positions to those drivers that he is racing on the new tire.
All right, we go green. Old tires against old tires. The 13th of Josh Buckley, the 38 of Brandon Feeney, 2 veterans of the Red Light Racing League side by side. New leader, it's Brandon Feeney. Now he led at the line. Can he finish the pass is the question.
It's going to be tough, and he's getting awful high on those older tires. I see a slight hole there right behind Buckley. He's going to get in it. That would have been my recommendation.
So Buckley has been racing in second this entire race, and that's where in front.
Yeah, and they're Soup. I'm not sure what's going on, but Eric Stout's actually in front of Buckley, so something's happening to Stout. He was coming out of the pits when they came around, and I don't think that's what Buckley wants to necessarily see. He's going to hope that Stout gets going so he's not held up here.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was looking at Buckley, and he was battling for what I thought was the lead, and actually, no, he's behind Stout, who's now 9/10 of a lap down. Let's put our attention on the yellow number 40. Rob Higgins is in a nice battle, trying to do whatever he can. Trying to fish for a spot there on Eric and Ethan Troutman. Can't get it done. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we got it. It started with the 12, with the 21, and now they all go around. The 17 of Chad Alcaraz. I was watching it when it happened. Alcaraz got into the back of Aho, and then they all checked up behind him. Aho comes away clean. Not the case for the guys who are following.
Get a replay of it here. Like you said, Chad Alcaraz, he was behind Jeff Aho. They go down into turn 3. And yeah, just one of those deals. Aho's going a little bit slower because he's got a car on the outside of him, so he's having to enter the corner shallower. I'm not sure Alcaraz was accounting for that. It was slight contact, but it was enough that it checked up Alcaraz, and quick enough that the cars behind just could not avoid the contact there. And you see the cars behind, nothing they could do. I believe that was Flowers that got into it.
One more look on board with Greg Jameson, if we could there. Ryan, our director, take a peek at this. You want to know what makes Oxford's planes so unique? Well, Greg Jameson's got to be happy right now that he's racing here because there's no room. There's all this. There's nowhere for him to go. All this action. Where can I go? I'm going to go to the beach. There you go.
Yeah, and he did a nice job of being able to get it slowed down because there is the risk when you get out there that the car doesn't turn and you end up getting into that blue wall on the outside there. So did a nice job of not panicking.
Only at this bizarre racetrack. JR has Josh Buckley come in for a pit stop?
I believe that he has. He is Yeah, so he is back, I believe, in 19th position right now. So he has definitely come in for service, which is a little bit odd, I think, that he would choose to do that because it wasn't that many laps different than the other drivers who did it. So that kind of puts him, a lot further behind than what he would have been.
Yeah, if he felt like pitting, he might as well have done it when everyone else came in. But who are we to question the saged wisdom of a man named Granny Hips? Dwayne Hopkins is your new leader. Ethan Troutman on the outside. We talked about the yellow number 40. Watch out for him. He's fun. Rob Higgins, he's a veteran. He gets to the inside now with Troutman. Troutman's going to have to struggle out there.
Yeah, and another caution is back out on the Speedway, so not even getting a lap in here. So something has occurred in the back of the pack.
I tell you right now, Rob Higgins was side by side with Troutman. He's hoping that he didn't get credit with that pass. He'd much rather start on an odd number.
Yeah, there's just a lot of checkups going into turn one there. I didn't see initially where it started up ahead of that group, but again, it's very difficult to see from inside of these cars when you're right behind somebody. You're only able to see the rear bumper of that car ahead of you. So when there's a checkup ahead of the car that's ahead of you, it is super difficult to try to avoid it or get away without contact, and that's what we see here. It's just a lot of checkups leading to a chain reaction back in the pack.
Well, if qualifying accounts for anything, the guys up front, Hopkins, qualified 21st, Troutman 18th, Higgins 20th. Got to go all the way back to Jeff Aho, not that far back though, in 8th position to find the first guy who started up front. Patrick Stout as well. Qualified inside of row 3, he's up there.
He is, but on the drivers that pitted on lap 75, Brian Neff finds himself leading that group. But unfortunately, he's in the 6th position, so he'll be starting on the outside. I believe Patrick Stout is going to have the advantage on the drivers that are on that strategy currently.
Interesting, a little more strategy than I thought we have. I basically thought everyone would just kind of wait for that yellow flag that would happen around lap, I would have thought about 120 would have been when you want to go in, but maybe 30 laps here at this short track is not enough time to get it done, good tires or not. We're going to go race them this time. I think we're going to go for a long time. Well, let's turn our attention on Dwayne. He spells it D-U-W-A-Y-N-E. Mom and Dad, that's not how you spell that name, but he's out there nevertheless. He's racing in the 00, and he looks strong. A little dip-de-doo, hokey-doke, up and under from Ethan Troutman, trying to do it. Troutman gets back off, and I thought he was going to get into the rear of Hopkins right now. Another good run from Troutman now as he looks to the inside. They are side by side. We're going to have a pass for the lead in the popcorn position. On the inside is the 40 of Rob Higgins. Rolling the high side is the 23 of Devin Visno.
Yeah, these drivers are racing hard right now. Troutman, he got Hopkins looking in his mirror enough that Hopkins came off the bottom of the corner there, so Troutman was able to take advantage. But you can see these drivers up front on older tires, they're really struggling, moving around, and now the drivers with fresh tires, they have caught this group, and we're seeing a lot of action. There's going to be contact here.
Despite racing in a car that has 3 digits, 2, 7, 1, 8, Alvecchion having a nice run. He's 3 right now. They get it sorted out. Oh my goodness, they think wiser of it. Bacon to 3 wide on the inside was the 24 of Patrick Stout. Stout, a newcomer to the series. Not scared to go 3 wide.
And he knows the urgency. The driver he was racing is that 60 car. Brian Neff, that's the driver on the strategy with the fresher rubber. So Patrick had to make that move, and saying that, we have another caution out on the Speedway.
This one looks like it involves the 03 of Lewis Wildflowers taking a wild ride.
Yeah, Chad O'Carroll's got into him, but that started much further ahead. It was another checkup ordeal and just nowhere for these drivers to go ultimately. The chain reaction led all the way to the back of the pack.
So we watch pit lane right now as they come around. I believe it is open. Nobody goes this time.
Yeah, and You know, unless you just feel like, you know, if you're one of the drivers that is still up front on the old tires, unless you just feel like you're a hazard out there, not able to control your car the way you need to, I'm staying out because it is late in this race. I don't think you're going to be able to make up a lot of positions. So I think those top 3 drivers, I think they're going to finish on the tires they are running on.
With that said, it's time for Soup's favorite graphic, our pit stop corner. Let's bring that thing up there right now, and you'll see one long line up top for Troutman, Higgins, and Hopkins. They have not come in. Same thing for Alvecchion down there and Oliver. Drivers on much fresher tires. Stout, that is Patrick, and Brian Neff. My partner talked about it. Those guys are on the same strategy.
They are, and the roles are going to be reversed on this restart. Now Neff is going to have the slight advantage, I feel, because he's going to be on that inside line where Stout was the leading car out of that group. So I expect to see a lot of action up here, potentially Stout trying to make it 3 wide in order to hold Neff off back there.
I'll tell you right now, I hope there's a lifeguard because the talent pool is indeed deep. Look at all these new names: Troutman, Higgins, Stout, Hopkins, Neff, Alvecchion, Bisno, Oliver, Benedict. All brand new. Benedict, the winner of round 1, ahead of all the guys he's racing in the championship. This is fun. Welcome to season 14.
It is, and I think this puts those other drivers on notice that have been around for a long time that they have competition. This is not just new drivers looking to join the league and ride around. They're here to race, and you can see on that inside line, Neff does get in front of Patrick.
The driver to watch, Neff and Stout, and we got another caution. I guess that's great news for Eric Troutman, Rob Higgins, and Dwayne Hopkins. Nobody can pass them. Their tires are old, but their position is safe under caution.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is another checkup ordeal. Some weird stuff kind of happening up in front, and just nowhere for these drivers ultimately to go. But absolutely, those 3 drivers that are up front that are on the older tires, the more cautions we have, the more beneficial it's going to be to them, because as these tires cool down, they are going to have more grip than what they would have if we continue to race under green flag and build up those tire temps and tire pressures.
And also, I think there's a lot of drivers back there worrying about their race strategy. Big names in the back. Jeff Aho in 11th. Buckley, remember, made that pit stop in 15th. Eric Stout, 19th. I opened the opening of this race talking about pocket points. That's what I'm talking about. Stout with a horrible result. And he'll just stick this result if it stays the way it is right now. And, of course, we have a long way to go. But we've seen Eric Stout do some amazing things. But if things were to finish like they are, he just takes this, what would be, I don't know, a 19th place result, puts it in his pocket, and uses what he had in the opening round.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. And I feel bad for those drivers that were up front early, like Jeff Aho, because you're in a very bad position. When you feel like it's time to pit, odds are there's going to be a lot of drivers stay out, and that puts you in a very vulnerable position in the middle or back of the pack. And that's what's kind of happened here, and you're just not able to make the ground back up from it. So it's one of those deals. You're having a bad night. You make the most of it and try to get the most points you can without destroying your car.
The guys to watch out for are Brian Neff and saucer Patrick Stout. Those guys are on much fresher tires. The guy up front, the front 3, very, very old, but it's going to be hard to get around. Newcomer, Ethan Troutman, out in front, side by side, are guys racing on very, very, very old tires. Hopkins on the inside, he's going to get it done. Now, can Higgins get down in there? New tires for Patrick Stout. Move him up into 3rd. Tucking underneath Neff is Chris Oliver. Oliver on used rubber, so old, but still able to make the car go. One of the best races I've seen Oliver have in his entire career.
Yeah, and Oliver took advantage of a situation. Neff got into the back of Stout earlier in one of the corners and pushed himself wide. Oliver took advantage of that, and that's what you've got to do. It doesn't matter what tire strategy you're on. If you see that driver get up in the high groove, you've got to take advantage of it and get to his inside.
Troutman and Hopkins, if you're listening, you guys are in good shape because behind you is just some ferocious racing. Drivers on different agendas, guys on old tires that are trying to stay up, guys on new tires that see the laps clicking away, trying to get there. I predict that we're going to have not one, not two, but maybe 3 more yellows before this is done. And that's just great news for Troutman and Hopkins.
Yeah, absolutely. But up front, Stout Patrick, he is making that run on the inside to get second place from Hopkins, and he does it right as the caution comes out on the speedway.
We'll see how they score it. I believe it is going to be Stout. I guess this is good news and bad news. The pass was made, but it moves them to an even position.
It does, and we'll get back to that. We look back here in the pack, we see Ken Allen. Yep, so the car in front of him, Bisnaugh just got onto that apron. That apron is vicious. It's very easy, and we see a lot of cars, including Ken Allen, going up and over. So his race is going to be done. There's one upside down on the outside in the grass of turn 3. So pretty vicious accident here. It started pretty innocent with the driver just going up and over the curve, but once you do that, it checks everybody up. The drivers behind cannot see it in time.
So Papa Allen's night's going to be over, we believe. Good news for him, though. His son having a pretty decent run. Kid Lemon Lime, Logan in 14th. All right, they do indeed. The iRacing race stewards have scored Patrick Stout in second. Dwayne Hopkins on those very, very old tires in third.
Yep.
JR, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but what you've taught me is because these cars are so underpowered, maybe the restart not so much an advantage with new tires compared to old tires.
It's not. I mean, you do go wide open. There's no concern for wheel spin or anything like that. But if there's any opportunity that Stout has to make a pass on the outside, it's right now where he has much pressure rubber. I believe 75 lap newer tires than that car on his inside. There's the potential that not only does he have that tire advantage, but also a speed advantage over Troutman. He could make this pass, but he's got to leave at the same time on this restart.
They go on the flag. They wait. Nobody's sandbagging. It's a good start. It's a very good start for Troutman as he's out in front.
Yeah, and Stout's going to look. He knows that that's not going to work on the outside. He was too far back, so he wisely got into that move into second place down on the bottom. So he is going to go to work on our leader. I expect him to be racing hard the entire time, trying to find a way around, as well as these other drivers. We see them jockeying for position, trying to get down to that inside line. It's 25 to go. Drivers are going to be aggressive at this point.
Remember, it was Brian Neff and Patrick Stout that were on the same strategy. Well, Neff has been just buried behind right now, and he has nowhere to go as he's pinned behind 2 cars of Chris Oliver and Rob Higgins. Shout out again to Chris Oliver, having a nice run, racing in 4th spot. Well done.
Yeah, and he's on what I would consider at this point the non-preferred strategy with the older tires, and he's making it work. It shows that you take care of your stuff and you run that super sensitive line right on the inside without making a whole lot of mistakes. You can continue to run with those faster drivers on newer tires.
Meanwhile, Ethan Troutman has this car hooked up. No pun intended. Really running well. Now, finally, Patrick Stout gets some clear air in front of him. He can try to run him down. But the laps are clicking away. 20 to go. It's time to boogie.
It is, but here's what's going to happen. So right now, Troutman's able to put in some good lap times. The tire temps were cold. The pressures were down. Those are going to continue to build up lap after lap. I figure after he gets 6, 7 laps on those tires, he's going to find it a lot harder to keep that car down in the corners right against that curve. You can see him on the exit. He's already drifting way wide, but we got another caution out on the speedway, so it may not matter. We may not get to that time where his tires fall off.
More good news for Troutman. This one involved, is this Kid Lemon Lime involved in this one? I see caught up in it. Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think that may have been Jeff Aho right behind Luke Logan there. And yeah, just some contact. I didn't get a good view of it. I don't know. I guess Luke was kind of a little high on exit. He's trying to get back down to the bottom. Aho's also trying to take that ground. They both come together there, and that's one of those things where you would typically give and take a little bit early in the race. But when it's this late, Aho felt like he needed to go for that, and I don't blame him. That's an opening that you see, and you tried to go for it, not expecting Luke Logan to be able to get back down there.
I was watching some television the other night, stumbled across with the clicker there to Paranormal Activity. Great movie if you've never seen it. The story is about a young woman who's haunted wherever she goes by a ghost that just follows her. And her boyfriend's saying, well, let's get out of the house. She's saying, it doesn't matter. No matter where I go, it follows me. I feel like that's kind of the Jeff Aho story. I mean, no matter what track he's on, it seems like things are going his way. Bad luck seems to find, Jeff Aho.
Yeah, it definitely does. We talked about it last season too, and I know he's getting tired of it. I thought tonight would be a night where he could get momentum back on his side, things turned around, because he got that pole at a track that's super tough. But once he made that pit stop, he was just never able to get into a position to try to work his way back forward. He continued to fall back, and when you do that, you get around drivers that are honestly not used to racing with you, and they are on a different level as far as speed, and it just doesn't work well together lap after lap.
And then on the other side of the coin, car number 71. His nickname is always there, Fred Leclerc. And sure enough, there he is again. Not up racing up front, but in 7th spot on the inside line, looking for a top 5. That guy is going to win himself a championship just based on consistency. All right, we go green. Work a lap number 137 to 150. Old tires of Ethan Troutman. New tires for Patrick Stout. Well, fresher tires at least. Oh no! Woo, I thought they were going to get together.
Yeah, there was slight contact, but nothing that really upset their car. Stout's going to have to work hard and try to pin him down as much as possible, because right now he's stuck. Oh, and they get wide going into 3. It looked like Stout and Hopkins got together, and they just couldn't get away from each other.
They've left the racetrack. They're heading towards Canada. No walls here at Oxford Plains. Well, they're gone. And look who is now in 2nd spot. Remember, we talked about the 2 guys on the alternate strategy. One of them was Patrick Stout. The other one was Brian Neff. Hello, number 60. Welcome to 2nd spot. The win, it's just 1 position away.
I feel bad for Troutman. So the thing is at the end of a race, Neff, when he's in a position like this, he is able to find a little bit extra. He's able to find that speed that he hasn't had the entire race. You see him closing in, and trust me, he's not afraid to make some slight contact to get a move made. So Troutman's going to have to fight hard. He needs to find any type of pace that's left in that car.
Oh, I hope you all realize the experience that J.R. Shepherd knows about Brian Neff. And the way that my partner couched his words there, I really appreciate that. Brian, I hope you do as well. Neff with a reputation of, well, he's not going to want to finish 2nd. I don't know how else to put it. Good racing going on.
Yeah, he's not going to want to finish 2nd, but the thing is, he's just able to find another level when he is toward the front at the end of a race. So if you find him in 2nd position this late, he's going to run hard, and he's able to find that lap time. But looks like Troutman's starting to slightly open up that gap. He can't make a mistake. Got a little bit high through 1 and 2 there.
So, JR, can Troutman slow down to try to keep the inside line, or is that... What do you do if you're in his position? How do you defend?
The biggest thing is making sure you don't miss corner entry, because you don't want to be high through the center of the corner. You also want to be able to get the car slowed down enough to come off of these corners as straight as possible. It's very easy to hit that throttle and go wide coming off the corner, get yourself angled for the next corner, but if you do that with someone that's got fresher tires, they're going to be able to get to your inside. Neff's looking. He's almost there trying to make a move.
My goodness. The newcomer, Ethan Troutman. He's racing on the rims right now. Another veteran, Brian Neff, looking for a way around. He's there. Oh, look at the restraint from Brian Neff. Oh, sakes alive. I ain't never seen Brian Neff do that in my life. Whew. Who is that behind the wheel?
You know, it's kind of a risk versus reward thing. If he were to dive in, there's the potential that Neff would have got his left side tires on that curb and it would have taken him out too. He knows that. He's got a lot of experience here as we go into the last lap, trying to make a move off of 2.
Boink from Neff, but it's not going to work. 2 corners to go. He's a rookie. He did not make a pit stop the entire race, and he wins it. Ethan Troutman, round number 2 at Oxford Plains goes to you. Great run from Brian Neff. And how about 3rd place? Always there, Fred Leclerc. Woo, doggy. That was a fun one. The racing is over here at Oxford Plains. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break, come back, run down the finishing order, talk to some drivers we don't usually get to talk to before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. Look at those donuts. Well done, Troutman. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Thursday night rolls around and you don't know what you want to do with your Thursday night, well, spend it right here with us, the Virtual Grip Network. Tonight, we covered live as it happens, second round of the Skitter Creek Modified Series Season 14 here from Oxford's Plains Speedway. And what a race it was. Let's give it to you right now, the results. And my goodness, this is very exciting. How about the top three drivers' qualifying positions, 18th, 12th, and 19th? We're talking about newcomer Ethan Troutman, oldcomer Brian Neff, and then always there, Fred Leclerc. There's your top three. Lewis Wildflowers, he was up and down the whole time. Boy, but somehow he finishes fresh as a daisy in fourth position with another newcomer, Glenn Jamison, in fifth. Watch out for these new names, Troutman, Flowers, Jamison up there. Here's an old-timer Brian Bianchi in front of Rob Higgins. Higgins put up a nice show. Maybe the best race of his red light racing, at least broadcast his career, goes to Chris Oliver. Well done. Devin Visnell goes in 9th position. In 10th, it is Chad Alcaraz.
And coming home in 11th place tonight, Brandon Feeney. He was a winner from last year. Mike Tasharoo, he'll come home in 12th place. Josh Buckley kind of going on a different strategy there. Came back and got in 13th place. Luke Logan Allen, he'll come home in 14th. Jeff Aho leading a lot of laps early in this race, but getting off strategy, he'll come home in 15th place. Kevin Alicia, he'll come home in 16th place. Dwayne Hopkins, 17th place, running up front late there. Bradley Stefan, he'll come home in 18th. Patrick Stout, he'll be in 19th position. And Aiden Alvecchion, he'll come home in 20th tonight.
The number said he hit blackjack, but he won the opening round. Second round sounds like a bust to me. We're talking about Bill Benedict. He finishes in 21st position, just ahead of the Lipper, Chris Hazlip. Ken Allen, boy, he had some problems. Papa Ken's going to finish in 23rd position. Andy Lewis, we saw issues for him also in 21st. 25th and 26th and 27th go to, there's Teapot. Well down. His brother Saucer finished much better up the order. Hard night for Eric Stout tonight. Alan Wanamaker raced up front, but in the end, he'll have to settle for 26th. And I believe the last car out there, Double Deuce Bruce Pearson, takes 27th. I'm not sure if TJ Henson he did take the field. TJ Henson in 28th. All right. With that said, we get to interview for the first time. We talked to our race winner, Ethan Troutman. We'll learn about him. Ethan, it's Soup up here in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Loud and clear.
All right. Well, passing was at a premium, and you said tires be darned. I'll race this thing on the rim. You held them off. Is that how you thought it would go?
That's not how I thought it would go, but that was definitely the mindset. Wasn't super confident in practice. It's a tough track. It's wide, but it's not. And I'm used to stock car racing, so not having the outside wall there, it was unnerving. But yeah, I started at the back, just kind of rode around, and once the cautions came out, people kept pulling off the pit. Next thing I know, I'm up in the front around 4th or so. And then I think Josh was leading, he pit, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to value fresh tires enough to go back to the back of the pack. So I figured I might lose a spot or two if tires came, but I didn't expect to hold them off. But I felt like that would have been the right call to stay out.
There were 3 of you guys who had the same thing. You go to the back with the fresh tires, and you can see that it really didn't work for anybody. Although you were battling at the very end there. You were battling Brian Neff, and before that, you were battling the other driver that had the fresh tires. Would name escapes me right now because I'm old. Oh, Patrick Stout. They were both on, they had must have been 60-lap fresher tires. Able to hold them off.
Yeah, I actually had no idea who had tires and who didn't, as far as maybe depending on what caution they pitted under. So I just kind of had to run my own race, and Neff did come alive there at the end. He was all over me. I was just trying to protect the bottom. A few times I got up a little too high, but he could have roughed me up if he wanted to, but he kept it clean.
You know the reputation of Brian Neff. You got away. You stole one tonight, baby. Well done on that one. Hey, before you go, let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? What do you do?
I am from Watauga, Tennessee. We're about 20 minutes from Bristol Motor Speedway. Right now, I am a restaurant marketing management. That about sums it up. Yeah, I've been running Red Light Racing, the Scrambler Series on Monday nights. It'll be 6 years next week. So I've been over there for a while, and I've had a few people, namely the champion, bug me to come out on Thursdays. So I figured I'd give it a shot and see how it went.
Going well so far. Restaurant management. Make sure you get yourself a good soup of the day. Soup du jour, very important. All right, with that said, have yourself a good one. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks.
Ethan Troutman, your winner. JR, who you got?
Hey, I get to talk to Brian Neff. This is a first, Brian. Hey, congratulations for that second place run, man. But I got to ask you, we'll go back in the race a little bit. I think it was around lap 75. You choose to come in and get right side tires. What was the mindset behind that? Did you always hope that you would have a caution somewhere around halfway?
No, I was going to go the whole way on tires, but the guys in front of me went, and I wasn't going to get hung out. I like I keep saying, I've been away for a while. I mean, I didn't realize that Soup was still going to be around and remember everything I used to done all the time. but been away for a long time. It's just starting. I think I just knocked the last little bit of dust off of this thing, and starting to get a little bit excited about how things are going now.
Well, it looked good, man. And you were on that same strategy as Patrick Stout, I believe. And you guys were kind of going back and forth on, we kept having some cautions. You guys kept getting inside-out slide differences there. So it was kind of between you two on that new tire strategy. Once you knew you didn't have to worry about him anymore, what were your thoughts as you were in that position to go chase down Troutman there? Did you think you had a shot just because he was on those older tires?
Well, I didn't know he was on older tires, to be honest with you. You don't really know, other than whoever's in front of you. It's hard to pay attention to who's taking tires and who hasn't. And once I got around him, it was if I thought I could get two, I would make a move. If I didn't think I could get two, after I got by Stout, I wasn't trying to make a move because I didn't want to lose.
Well, you definitely made it look exciting out there tonight. So we were on the edge of our seats watching the closing laps. Got to ask you, so before I let you go here, next week you guys go to, I think it's a couple of weeks, but you guys go to Martinsville. I know you got a lot of laps there. What are your thoughts going there? You think you can do the same thing?
I hope to. I mean, I've had some really good races at Martinsville. But this league, these guys, this league is no joke. These guys, there's a lot of guys in here that know what they're doing, and you got to pick and choose. You just got to pick and choose. It's not so easy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What? Where's Brian Neff that I know? Where's Putnam Brian Neff? You've mellowed in your old age, Brian.
Well, Soup. Years ago, I was in a good league, and I let my pride get ahead of me and made a couple bad choices, and I feel like I'm back in a good league, back with a good group of people. I'm a points racer, and I never could find anything after that. That's part of the reason I left. And,
it's great to. I'm smiling ear to ear. Well done, man. It's great to have you get a podium spot. Makes me happy.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. I'm having a lot of fun here, so.
Go get it, man.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, we'll see you, man, next week. Hopefully you do the same.
All right, take it easy, guys.
JR Shepard with a lot of experience with Brian Neff on the track. Soup with a lot of experience with him in the booth. Now we get to talk to always there Fred Leclerc. My goodness, he's picked up a new nickname, and he lives up to it again. Fred, no matter what happens, you may not win the race, but you are always there, and you did it again.
Yeah, normally something comes together at the end, and I can figure it out. Can't qualify to save my life, but usually at the end of the race, I can be there.
What was your tire strategy there? It was really interesting. There were like 3 or 4 different strategies at the very end, and it ended up no pit stop was the way to go.
I pitted about halfway when everyone else did and took just right sides, but my right sides when I pitted weren't that bad, so I knew I'd be all right till the end.
It was indeed a nice one. Now, we've seen you win before, and be honest with me on this. There's some really tough guys in here, and certainly Eric Stout crushed it last season. Do you start to think maybe I might be able to get a championship here? You think you're that good? Do you think you got a shot?
Everyone thinks they got a shot. I think I can, but there's probably 20 guys in this league that could have a shot to win it. It's so tough. You just gotta be consistent.
I honestly, I think that's the word for you. I don't know if you have the top tier speed. I don't mean to put you down, but I mean clearly some of those guys are incredible. but you are so consistent that I think you could steal one. Get a win or two there. We got 20 races to do it this season. We're going to watch it. It's going to be fun.
No, thank you. I agree with you. I just got to be consistent because I don't have the speed that some of them guys got. I can't qualify better than 15th normally.
Well, you did it again tonight. Well done. We'll watch you. See you down. We're going to Martinsville next time. Good luck there.
Thank you.
All right. And let's find out when we are actually going there. Looking at my schedule, I believe we're going there next week. The director will put that up right now. We'll show you what's going to be coming up. Let's go down to Thursday. Where is Martinsville? I don't know. Oh, there it is down at the bottom. June 5th is when that's going to be. Well, that's next Thursday, so we don't get a week off. You can see all those broadcasts that are coming up before now and then. Boy, are we busy here on the Virtual Grip Network. If you are an iRacer and you say, I would like to also have my series broadcast, go ahead and get a hold of the Virtual Grip Network. We'll find a spot for you. With that said, those broadcasts, future ones, past ones, are all a production of VGN. Now we're going to show you a picture of all the people that make this possible. On behalf of all of those little faces, I'd like to thank you all for watching. We'll try to do better next time. Until then, have fun storming the castle.